This is the view from the window at Le Gras from Niepce, a heliographic image which is the oldest surviving camera photograph to date. We now look at it because cinema could never be invented without photography as its base. Its beginning dates back to Lumiere's cinematograph, the machine that transformed sequences of images into motion pictures. The first movies were simply logs, direct cinema, little pieces of real life like what we are seeing now. And just like that, cinema was born, in general disagreement at the time of what would actually be its social function, a means of preservation or of making archives for research and teaching in sciences, a new form of journalism, or an instrument of sentimental devotion which could perpetuate the living image of a dear departed one. That over all these possibilities cinema could evolve into a new form of art for telling stories had never been really considered. Yet fiction was early introduced, but cinema didn't have only fictional stories on its path. In the 1920s, Robert Flaherty, a pioneer on ethnographic filmmaking, directed Nanook of the North, a documentary that showed the way of living of the Eskimos. Later, the film came to also be known for Flaherty's mixture of concealment and reenactment. Nanook is a movie that can be seen from many perspectives, but hardly from a pure observational point of view, if such a term can even be used.
See a transfer from the game? Yeah.
Okay. 40 years later, in the early 60s, technology advancements gave the filmmakers the ability to create small crews of 2 or 3 elements. With added portability came the capacity to move in narrower spaces, and also for the crew to less destabilize the environment meant to be captured. Frederick Wiseman was undoubtedly one of the first directors to adopt the new portable cameras and audio recorders. Titicut Follies, his first movie, was set in the Bridgewater Secure Hospital for the criminally insane. Wiseman, who is now known for making 1 movie per year, set his focus on public institutions, showing how things are run on a daily basis by social actors, whose lives are intrinsic to the behavioral system within which they function.
You take a little bit, some time, and medication, and then...
But that's what I'm taking. You see what I mean? Now you give me the same story again.
The movie portrays the uneven balance of relations between medical personnel, guards, and patients.
How come you lose from there, Jim? How come the goddamn thing isn't dirty yet? What?
The observational documentary mode, known as fly on the wall, a term that Wiseman doesn't embrace, is a non-intrusive way of capturing reality through the lens of a camera, with an implicit point of view from the filmmaker.
Come on, Jim. Come on, let's go wash up. You get shaved.
In Titicut Follies, Wiseman shows it all. Abusive guards taking naked patients through the corridors, doctors being evasive with patients.
No, this is the test.
And the way patients were left alone, naked in their cells, regardless of such behavior being against the Declaration of Human Rights. The movie was censored for 27 years.
You play the piano, Jim? Yes.
I tried to make the films to give the viewer enough information so they can feel that they're present, and yet at the same time make up their own minds what it is they're seeing and hearing. And I think I make dramatic narrative movies that can be as funny or as sad or as tragic as so-called normal, regular fiction films.
¿Por qué siempre tenemos que definir el género? O sea, los directores de ficción no se tienen que gastar ni un minuto en definir qué es una ficción. Nosotros los documentalistas siempre tenemos que estar defendiendo si es real o no es real.
Maite Alberdi is a Chilean observational documentary filmmaker. Her documentaries resemble fiction in such a way that many have trouble believing that her movies are unscripted and unstaged.
Lo que existe de verdad, tiene acá el corazón.
O yo por lo menos tengo que estar contestando esa pregunta y últimamente he empezado a decir si es 100% real y es 100% ficción.
With The Mole Agent, Maite Alberdi was nominated for Best Documentary Feature for the Academy Awards, along with Marcela Santibáñez.
Yo creo que la gente topo es como la película dentro de la película constantemente. O sea, parte como una película de género negro, comedia, y se va volviendo un documental de observación antropológico emotivo.
Maite's movies benefit from her choosing well the subjects.
Tengo dos trabajos. Bien. Pues la verdad estoy muy cansado, porque busco trabajo y no gano nada. Y no sé lo que voy a hacer.
In The Grown-Ups, her subject was Down syndrome patients, who tend to often repeat the same conversation and talk very slowly.
Farso, 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 farso.
This lets her move easily to take different shots, and in the editing room, make it look like everything happened very fast. The same principle was used in Tea Time and in The Mole Agent.
¿Cómo ha estado?
No sé si me echó de menos, 2 días que estuve en cama. Estos días me trajeron todo a la cama. Felizmente me mejoré rápido.
This is the definition she thinks suits her movies best.
Lo que me gusta más es una definición de Loren Soler que dice es una ficción que se construye a partir de elementos obtenidos directamente de la realidad. Creo que esa es la que más me acomoda.
Lorenz Soler's definition given by Maite is the perfect hook to introduce Filipe Martins, the Portuguese director of House of Glass. Carlos is a social actor, an addict that lives in a glass house in a busy street in Oporto. He plays as himself, doing what he usually does on a daily basis.
O Carlos vivia ali, passava o seu cotidiano ali na margem do Douro, num raio de 500 metros a 1 quilómetro. Portanto, à esquerda tinha um supermercado onde ele pedia esmolas e à direita tinha o bairro do Aleixo. E, portanto, era um cotidiano muito contido ali naquela zona.
By observing his daily routine, the director scripted what would forever become Carlos' passage on the house, the neighborhood, the city.
Bom dia, Carlos.
Bom dia.
Onde é que tens andado?
Por aí.
Ontem não estavas, onde é
Sempre
que
igual. Ai, onde fui?
Andámos à tua procura, onde é que estavas?
Havia 2 possibilidades, ou uma abordagem documental continuada ao longo do tempo para um estilo mais observacional, mas isso não era viável.
So Filipe decided to observe Carlos's daily life for a month.
O filme conta o cotidiano dele ao longo de 3 dias, portanto a narrativa está assim concentrada, embora as filmagens tenham sido mais longas, os tais 5 dias.
The result? A fictional movie that resembles reality in such an immersive and documental way that Nanook comes to mind. And then Titicut Foley's, The Grown-Ups, The Mole Agent and The House of Glass all over again.
Você é um homem jeitoso.
Obrigado.
Precisa de arranjar uma namorada, mas assim não, tem que tomar banhinho.
Carlos never lived to watch the movie premiere. The house also no longer stands. Cinema attains its fullness in being the art of the real.
You can't ever get it all, but there's so much to choose from.